Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, click the notification bell, all of that. But okay, so today we're going to be doing a quick weave bob with a side part. It's going to be an invisible part. So as always, my clients are prepped before I start. Let's get into the video. But yeah, she was like, she said something like, I know the one girl was like, you need to make your customers comfortable. I'm like, comfortable? Girl, what? Who the heck? I said, Kay, because if I would have ate her up, I know my channel would have got deleted. And what I'm trying to figure out what that last girl had done said to me. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but what they said something to me. Why your music so loud? Huh? You need to turn it down. Girl, it was something. I said, are you here to watch or listen to the music? And I said, as a matter of fact, you don't need to do anything else because now you're a block commenter. So have a good day. Like, who is y'all talking to? Because clearly, y'all don't know me. If I was close, I would come to y'all. And I think that's what they fail to realize, is I am not that girl. I am very ratchet. Very. Very, honey. Okay, and we're using 310-inch, what is it? It's called Purple Pack, and it's really good. I love this hair. It's really good and it's really thick. I'm sorry, not Purple Pack. New Yaki, Entree Premium New Yaki. This. But it's in a Purple Pack, and it's really good. It's thick and it's very flowy. It's like good quality hair for a good price. But yeah, girl, they be coming on there just saying anything.
Like, they entitled to shit, but you ain't entitled to shit.
Like, what is y'all, who is y'all talking to?
Should feel privileged. I'll let you on my channel.
Exactly, because if I put my page private and like it's so many views, it's like, what I don't like is people are so jealous-hearted that they'll look on your page, but they won't subscribe. Like, they'll go on your page every single day
to get your techniques.
Yeah, and won't subscribe. Like, it don't matter to me because regardless of what, I'm still gonna get me $1, whether it's hair or something else. I know how to make it shake. But it's just like people are so sick in the head. Like they'll put a thumbs down on the video. I'm like, these people is sick. Like, it can be 500 thumbs up, 1 thumb down, 2 thumbs down. Like, girl, bye. I ain't got time for that. Because I am not the girl for the minutes. So when they be writing little comments, I just say, okay, as long as you keep watching, boo, that's fine with me. Keep them views coming. Y'all can say whatever negative comment y'all want. It will be overlooked. Just keep viewing, boo. Don't make me know, never mind. But to all the loyal ones that really appreciate my talent, and when I upload videos, you guys, I'm really grateful for you all. And I appreciate that you guys watch, subscribe, like, whatever it is that you guys do, I'm grateful for you all. And that is honestly here to look at my work without being negative. And even if you are negative, that's fine with me, because criticism is okay with me. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, how you word it. Because a lot of the stuff that y'all say, y'all be having me effed up. And clearly, honey, y'all have no clue who I am. Google me. Nah, I'm just playing, but I am with the shits.
How you doing?
Not messy, but we'll beat somebody to sleep. But yeah, they just be coming over there saying all type of stuff. I'll be like, girl, bye. I'm not gonna do this with y'all, because this is what y'all looking for. But you will not get it from me.
Trying to make me $1.
Thank you.
Y'all trying to make mess, I'm trying to make $1.
Thank you. And the only mess I'm making is with the dollars, boo. You know what? I need to make me a regular YouTube channel of my day-to-day life. I think I'm gonna do that next.
Okay.
Because I think that'll be good.
I think.
Because I can school a lot of people. I can teach a lot of people a lot of stuff. Because I have a lot of knowledge. A lot.
I mean, you do an amazing job with hair, but
that lifestyle, yeah. I think I was thinking about that for a while too. Because I know I'm gonna start make up our little clothing line and stuff like that. And you guys gotta wait, because great things are coming for you guys. Believe that. Believe that.
You put a bag on it?
Yeah, it makes it right fluffy.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, so I cook, I decorate, I do everything. I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm a everything pony. And I actually started a cooking channel, you guys, but only uploaded 2 videos on there. I may start that back up, but I know I'm going to start back doing our little clothing line. It's called Lavish Life Apparel, so you guys stay tuned for that. But yeah, I don't know, I just said I was going to do about my life.
Yes.
And I think that'll be good. I think that'll be a good platform. Once I build up my followers here, then I'll, go to that.
Then you already have those because they'll transition over. Yeah. But I think that'll take off.
I think that'll take off faster, yeah. Because I'm unique.
You unique. You give people day-to-day common sense life lessons. You feel me? Without even you just shooting it off the dome because that's how you were taught from your past experience. But you know what I'm saying? People gonna catch that. You'll be like, okay.
I thought about that though. I always thought about that because me and my boyfriend was gonna do a YouTube, but he too. I don't know. He just when it comes to I don't know how to say it. He mean.
Oh yeah.
He's not mean. He just.
He's not outgoing like you.
He will do it though if I want him to do it because he said he'll do it. He just waiting on me, but. still debating on that, but I think that'll be good too. And you guys always remember, your first track is your guide. I haven't been telling you guys that in my previous videos, but your first track is always your guide to finishing your hairstyle. So the first track you lay, just like steps, you follow the lead. And like I always tell people, you can look at this way, but of course, eventually you're gonna adopt your own way that's better for you, because that's what I did. Honestly, everything that I learned from myself, and I didn't go on YouTube to look at stuff, because actually when I was first starting to do hair, I really didn't know about YouTube, of course. I was freaking like 14 years old. But or younger, and I always, everything I did, it's like trial and error. I'll do something, if I mess up, I'll know the mistakes I made, so I'll learn from that. But I can say my best friend's cousin, she did hair, and she taught me a few things as I got older. But that's honestly, I give all my credit to me, not nobody else. I give it all to me, and I do give Cap some credit because she have taught me a lot of like pressing, like when you're pressing the hair and all that to make it look blend with the weave. She taught me that, so you know I'm grateful for that. And pretty much everything else I pretty much learned on my own, so nobody can take credit for my success, and that's a good look, because I'm independent, I'm self-made, and I'm definitely a boss. That's what I said. The evidence against him has been piling up. Justice has moved state to state. So too has our investigation.
I think you should definitely.
I am. Eventually, I wish I would have did it when I got my teeth done, like did a video, like the journey of it. Yeah. But hell, I wrote them Wednesday and got my mother teeth done Friday, so it wasn't gonna be a journey. I didn't wait, because one thing about me, when I want something, I want it right away. It don't. If I'm paying for it, I need it expeditiously. Like I don't like to wait around. That comes with anything that I do. Like that comes with fixing, getting cars fixed. Anything that I do, I want it right away. If I'm paying for it, I want it immediately. I hate waiting. I'm very impatient when it comes down to me spending money. Because when I spend my money, I feel like I should have it right away. So that's one thing you guys can learn about me, is that when I want something, I want it right away if I'm paying, regardless. I don't like to wait. I don't like to beg people. Because let me tell you a situation, you guys. Okay, so I had bought a Mercedes-Benz. It was used. And the battery ended up going dead. So here I am, don't know nothing about no damn car. I had ended up hooking the battery up wrong, and I burnt the fuse box in the trunk, the hood, and even the I burnt the battery that I burnt the fuse box that goes in the hood and the one that goes in the trunk. So pretty much all the fuse boxes were burnt out. So I'm keep thinking, okay, I took it to shop. They kept saying it's the alternator, I paid people to do the alternator. It was never the alternator. I kept thinking I was getting bad alternators, but come to find out, being the crafty person that I am, I ended up kept doing research. Come to find out, it was actually the fuse that goes from the alternator to the top of the transmission. It's a cord, but it's a fuse on it. It was burnt. It was blowed out with the rest of the stuff. Keep in mind, these Mercedes mechanics don't know what they were talking about. I ended up learning how to change my own alternator because I was doing it so, like, kept giving people money to change the alternator. I ended up learning to do it myself. So I'm like, now they mechanics. So finally, when I told someone what it was, after like 3 or 4, like maybe like a month or 2, after like 5 or 6 alternators being changed by myself, I'm Googling the things. Mind you, Mercedes-Benz mechanics couldn't even tell me what it was. I had to Google and learn for myself. So finally, when I did find out what exactly it was, I got that done, finally, because I did the research. Not them, but they're Mercedes-Benz mechanics. I did the research and found out what it is. So why should I have to tell somebody that's skilled in something how to do their job? I never understood that. So once I finally got it done, that exactly what it was. All that time, I'm doing all this work, over thousands of dollars. After I got that fixed, the fucking car didn't even work anymore. It worked, but it was running hot. Like, so just imagine wasting all that money on stuff just to finally learn what it was on your own, when people that knew what the fuck was like supposed to be skilled in that field didn't know. That was the most, I don't even know how to say it, but it was ridiculous to me. And that's exactly why I try to do stuff on my own, because when you paying people and they still not doing the job right, that's horrible, and I can't do that. Because money is not easy to come by, especially not on no damn car. And those parts were so high on that Mercedes. But I said that to say this: do your own research first. Don't let nobody just tell you anything, because they definitely will if you paying them, because they want you to pay for what they tell you, and half of the time it don't even be right. But out with the old, in with the new. We're talking about here. Yeah, that make you play.
Never knew that.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, so I've already bonded most of the hair in, so I'm going to go ahead and take this to the top.
to make sure we've got study gaps right throughout the system to ensure that that doesn't happen. But that has to start with understanding it and taking it seriously.
Hayley Foster is CEO of Women's Safety New South Wales and is campaigning for change with this sort of offending in Australia. The case of Joel Vicky almost feels like a window into the bigger situation at the moment.
Indeed, this is essentially the tip of the iceberg. It's really great that 60 Minutes is uncovering this particular case, but at the end of the day, we should not be having women and children in fear and terrorised in their own homes. And yet, this is about political will, and it's high time that we roll up our sleeves and got the work done.
Do you think we're at a bit of a moment for this country where we're starting to draw a line in the sand for this kind of behaviour?
Absolutely, I think we've seen over the last 6 to 8 weeks, Australians are not tolerating this anymore. We can't keep putting this in the too high basket. We can't keep sidelining this as just a women's issue. It's absolutely high time that we place this squarely front and centre as a key national priority to address this issue, and I think Australians have made that loud and clear.
Hayley believes Joel Beakey's ability to move from state to state and re-offend illustrates why we now need a national approach to tackling violence against women.
We might be able to keep a bit of an eye on somebody whilst they're in New South Wales or whilst they're in Queensland alone, for example, but if somebody wants to jump in,
you just have to get
it's
one
almost
pay.
like they're scot-free. They can just go on to re-offend, putting women and children at serious risk in the community. We need to get on and get this national register really quick smart.
Any improvements to the system will come too late to help the brave women who shared their stories of abuse with us. But for Coralie, finding her voice is in itself a victory over this man who's tormented her for so long.
It's like a bad dream that you really don't want to tell anyone happened to you, because I look back now and think, you silly girl, how did you not see it earlier?
Yes, we do.
And
We always do that.
Really
We too late. Like, girl, you really went through that?
And maybe just make it makes this
Like, why did you even allow somebody to take you there?
I think a lot of people who watch this won't be saying silly girl, they'll be saying good on you for standing up.
This is
Of
my
course.
life, and he didn't finish it. He disrupted it for a little while, but he didn't finish my life. I've got it back.
Yep.
If this story has raised issues and you need to speak with someone, there is support and counselling available by calling 1-800-RESPECT, which is 1-800-737-732.
Hello, I'm Sarah Harwood. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.
This is the story of a world whose borders and territories were drawn by the slave trade, where violence, subjugation, and profit imposed their own roots. Slavery did not begin in the cotton fields of the U.S. It is a far more ancient tragedy that has been going on since the dawn of humanity. From the 8th century onwards, for over 1,000 years, Africa was the epicenter of a global form of human trafficking.
My parents were abused by those with a fair complexion.
Nubian, Bambara, Songhai, Fulani, Ashanti, Yoruba, Mandinka, Bantu,
You worked there?
Susu, Manika. Over 20 million Africans were deported, traded, and reduced to slavery. This criminal system...
Hold on, you guys. I'll be right back. Guys, so I did the first side off camera. I'm going to go ahead and do this side on camera. And this is the size I cut the pieces into. And just spritz it to make them tack faster. And I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. And make sure you keep them close together. And bring them as close to the actual part as you possibly can without leaving a gap. And take your time with it because you don't want to make it messy and have the glue in the part.
And that's just basic wavy guy maintenance, right? Next up, Carvana. Oh boy, Carvana just doesn't seem to understand how the test drive works. They give their customers 7 days. And if they don't like it, they give them their money back. They take the car back? That's crazy. What if it was driven by like a zookeeper? Or a mud wrestler? Or a guy who's on the outs with the missus and he just needs a place to sleep for 7 days. Yeah.
Buy your car online, love it or return it. With Carvana.
And they deliver your shit. Oh, yeah, this one.
They thought she had eternal youth.
Yeah, we slept together the first night, but we only had one bedroom, so, and I told her that ahead of time, and it didn't bother her, so.
Age didn't seem to matter. Men just fell for her.
Over the pattern of the next several months or so, whenever we began to hear about falling quite a bit, and then whenever we talked on the telephone, he'd be slurring his words.
And now another senior, head over heels for Melissa.
Mr. Weeks didn't look well at all. He looked a little green or gone.
She might have had eternal youth, but Melissa also had a history.
I do feel that I'm being railroaded.
And it's
See,
all
as you were
based
taking
on
me
past
out.
record.
One by one.
Stop playing, right?
It isn't Florida, but it must have been a lovely change of pace when she came home to New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, after 4 years in a jailhouse, an involuntary guest of the Sunshine State.
Florida. We don't play down here, honey. You can't even steal a piece of candy and get away in Florida, baby. You getting some prison time depending on where you at.
Back home in the Maritimes, where she started out on what in fairness had been a hard life. Now with the hard knocks of life behind her,
Target don't walk around, honey.
determined to keep a promise that she made to me 7 years ago.
I can't say that from now on I'll be a perfect citizen, but I'm just going to try day by day to behave myself and to do what I should have been doing all along.
That's all you can do is keep it real.
Despite to what degree she kept her undertaking, or whether she slipped back into what became a pattern that sadly for her defined her in the minds of most Canadians as the Black Widow. The latest chapter in her life begins here, New Glasgow, as most of her adventure started with a marriage ceremony. The groom was a frisky 75-year-old Fred
Fred thanked me very profusely at the ceremony. Yeah, they were happy at that time. Or at least Fred was. And Millie appeared to be.
But the honeymoon had only just begun when the man who tied the knot for them had serious misgivings.
I got a call from a lady who asked me if I knew who Millie was. And I said, yes, I do. Certainly, and I said, it's Millie Ann Russell. And she asked me if I'd ever seen a program on television on the 50th state called The Black Widow.
He called the cops, but there was nothing they could do, so he tried to find his old friend to warn him. The newlyweds by then were in a guest house about 3 hours away. Guest home operator Cheryl Chambers.
Mr. Weeks didn't look well at all. He looked a little green, argyle looking.
Cheryl didn't know it, but her little B&B would soon be a suspected crime scene, and Mrs. Weeks, a suspect for attempted murder. That scenario in Nova Scotia would resonate in Florida with Alex Stratigos. In 2003, he was looking for companionship, and he found Melissa on the internet. She was 69 and single, and soon she was writing back, anxious to connect. He was thrilled when she told him she planned to be in the neighborhood.
I was just lonely. And I figured this was a good chance for me to find somebody and get together and
Anywho.
The perfect scenario, and it got better. Melissa said she was driving down from Canada. And true to her word, she arrived for their first date in a white Cadillac.
Trust
I
mama.
said, where are you gonna stay? She said, I don't have any place to stay. And I said, why don't you stay with me? She said, okay.
She's
A
right away
romantic
from
dinner,
Canada.
some introductory chit-chat. Then they went back to his place, just like in the movies.
Yeah, we slept together the first night, but I only had one bedroom, so, and I told her that ahead of time. And it didn't bother her, so why not?
Sometime during that night, Alex got up to use the bathroom. But something didn't seem right. Whether from excitement or something he ate, his vision blurred and he passed out. He'd been married a couple of times and he worked for years in business, but this was a new experience. In the days to come, he'd get used to it. Alex Stratigos was in his 70s. He had diabetes and various other physical ailments. He wasn't exactly physically fit. So it was entirely possible that excitement and the demands of a new girlfriend explained the deterioration in his health. But his son Dean was worried. Something about this sudden collapse wasn't quite right.
The night that she got here, I thought to myself, you know, well, they must have really whooped it up last night.
Whooped it up. What the heck is that?
He was in He looked real sickly, and he was back in the hospital, falling in the middle of the night, hurting his head. It was something that was happening to him that wasn't natural.
It would take him a couple of months to discover that Melissa had a history that wasn't quite natural, and that 3 years earlier, another family in another part of the U.S. were going through a similar crisis. An elderly parent falling for Melissa, literally. Robert Friedrich had been a successful engineer and inventor, and then a blissful marriage ended in 1999 with the death of a beloved wife. Soon afterwards, in peculiar circumstances, he met Melissa. He had family living in Boston, his son Dennis and daughter-in-law Karen. They were cautiously supportive at first.
He felt that he was going to be taken care of, that he was happy, that he now had a bride, that he was going to not be alone anymore, someone to cook for him, someone to take care of him, someone to be with, to talk to. And these are things that he'd been missing desperately for the past year.
He was just
like a teenager who found his first love almost. He was just, I think he was so.
So you know that Daddy, oh, I did my own investigation.
Thank you.
You know, they ain't looking on the internet, they ain't looking on people that ain't shit.
Their father's bride had a sordid history as gravedigger.
Somebody come out
She'd been married and living in Pennsylvania for
I'm looking your whole
5
man.
years.
He ain't
She was
asking
a small
questions.
town lady with
People
big
may
city
know you.
intentions.
Right.
Then she met Gordon Stewart in 1989. He was 42.
He was lonely and he was looking for companionship. She comes along, she claims to be a good Christian, and she done everything to get his confidence.
It's hard to keep secrets in a rural PDI. While Gordon's brother Brian and his sister Kate Reeves were initially optimistic, they were soon hearing strange stories about Melissa.
I thought it would be wonderful if we got someone, somebody better. But that feeling lasted a very short time. We had heard that she had been in a lot of trouble with law. And actually, a member of the police force told my husband, tell Gordy to get away from Ash's trouble.
Call it trouble with a capital T. She had a criminal record as long as your arm. More than 30 convictions for various kinds of fraud under 4 different names, going all the way back to 1970 in Georgia. She served more than 5 years in jail. Melissa just couldn't keep her hands out of other people's money, and she wasn't about to change her ways. But Gordy didn't seem to care about any of that. She was still married to her first husband, but she married Gordon anyway in Las Vegas. They lived in Charlottetown, and the honeymoon was brief. Gordon suddenly had big money problems. A drinking habit seemed to get worse, passing out, landing in the hospital or jail. Along with the alcohol, doctors were finding drugs in his system.
He just wasn't himself anymore. He was losing weight fast, and bank account was being drained. And we knew his assets were being taken away. We just knew there was something wrong. We knew she had access to prescription drugs.
Stand up.
We just knew there was something going on.
Halifax in the early spring of 1991, Gordon agreed that a change of scene might help their troubled relationship, and they relocated to an apartment building in Dartmouth. They set out on a Sunday drive that ended here. Gordon, according to later accounts, was almost comatose from drugs and alcohol. A lethal dose, according to toxicology reports. But he was supposedly still able to attack Melissa. And when she saw a chance to escape, she ran him down with their car. Hours later, she showed up at a mounted police detachment to report that she'd been raped. Oh yes, she accidentally killed the rapist.
It would arouse anyone's suspicion to hear that kind of story. It just didn't seem to fit the scenario of the situation. If you accidentally ran over your husband, why would you not remain and explain the circumstances to whomever, whether it's the police or a witness or what?
Jerry Swain was the RCMP investigator in 1991.
As a result of the full investigation, we determined that the motive was monetary. That money was.
And it's always the motive, monetary.
Gordon Stewart had a pension from the DND, Department of National Defense, because he had been a regular member of the Armed Forces. And as his wife, she was entitled to benefits.
Melissa was in serious trouble when she landed in front of a judge and jury here in Halifax on a charge of murder. 2 people had seen her kill Gordon Stewart and then flee the scene. There was no evidence to justify the violence that she used against a man who was already half dead from alcohol and drugs. And still she was able to walk out of here guilty, yes, but on a reduced charge of manslaughter, and with a sentence that in real time would amount to only about 2 years. And here's the ironic kicker. She was able to use the whole sordid experience to launch a new career. She would become a poster girl for abused women, starring in a major documentary by the National Film Board. She started serving her sentence in the notorious prison for women in Kingston. But it was soon obvious that she didn't plan to be there for long. She won parole in 1994, and before long was making public appearances. Throughout the 90s, she would become a familiar face, a familiar voice in the national media.
No one knew that I was a bad woman.
Remarkably, she owed her prominence to a tragedy, a homicide that became almost heroic because of why she did it.
He had enough intent. He told me he was going to kill me, but first he was going to take me somewhere.
It was a compelling story, and her listeners never challenged it.
Later on, early that evening, we went into this road. It was like a logging road in the woods.
And this is pretty much just shine spray. I changed the bottle because the other lid was broken on the other way, it wouldn't pump.
So I saw that as my chance to get away.
When we return, Melissa takes the hot seat to discuss life, love, and destiny.
I began speaking in tongues, and I really felt the presence of the Holy Spirit.
So you? Right. Turn this way. And I linked this flat iron in the previous video. I think it's the previous video, maybe 1 or 2 videos
2 years in the penitentiary for manslaughter.
down.
It was time for new beginnings. She went to Florida. Far better to seek guidance for a new start in life than church. And in this church, she didn't have to wait long till the new life materialized. Robert Friedrich was making a grave recovery from grief. Melissa remembers how they met.
The Holy Spirit told me that this man would be my next husband.
The Spirit spoke to you as that small guy was.
He told me exactly who the person was. I could see him because he was up on the platform with the pastor and some other people because they were planning a trip to Jerusalem. I began speaking in tongues, and
I really felt the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Friedrich's family in Boston were shocked when they heard their father mention marriage. Dennis Friedrich.
I remember telling him at the time, you know, Dad, I don't know who she is, but I think that she's either very unstable or she's out to get into something no good. She's a conniver.
3 days after their first meeting, the happy couple were engaged.
Whoa.
Friedrich wanted the approval of his skeptical family.
He called me up and tried to get me to give him my blessing on the marriage. I said, I can't do that, Dad. I possibly can't do that because you have to take the time to get to know something. I
Right.
This said, 100 times. What's the rush? Of course, he was saying, I'm old. I don't have a whole lot of time left.
So he was in a hurry, and after only a month-long engagement, they went to a marriage chapel in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and made it official. After 53 years in his first marriage, he was ready for a fling, and the newlyweds promptly set out on a 5-month honeymoon that covered much of North America and blew a hole in his life savings.
Wow.
An estimated $250,000.
Yeah.
The grand finale was a luxury cruise to the Caribbean. And then they settled down in Robert Friedrich's modest home in Bradenton on Florida's Gulf Coast.
Down the street, child.
He was 82 years old, and by all appearances happy. But the family started noticing changes. He'd always been robust, but after Melissa came on the scene, he became unsteady on his feet. Nobody wanted to jump to conclusions. They were suspicious that Dad was being drugged. A disturbing pattern seemed to be emerging.
Okay, you guys, so I'm going to do the rest off camera. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, comment, all of that, because I really do appreciate you guys. Have a blessed day.